Oh my goodness. The IP, it's auto sends the tweet to, hey everybody, we're not doing any bonus content this week, but don't worry. Stop
I'm fidget spinning already.
I can already tell the fucking fidget spinner shit is just rolling in. But let me I'm gonna move this out of the way. My phone out of my face.
Give me chocolate.
Give me chocolate. You ready? Oh,
Yeah.
let me puff up real quick.
Okay. At PSP.
Yeah, PFP, pre-show puff, PSP. I don't know what PFP is.
Pre-flow puff.
Pre-fuck puff.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like the PCP, pre-coitus puff. Yeah.
Mm. I also like PCP, the drug. All right. We're gonna roll with this, Tony. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm like totally gonna wing this. I made a Google Doc, but like for the most part,
I looked at the Google Doc. I was like, this looks sad.
yeah, like I wrote down 2 games that I played. So we're gonna. This is gonna be mostly a winged effort.
Really excited for my one game. Done.
It's the sitcom Wings. All right. It is Saturday, June 24th, 2017, and you're listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 333. I'm Alex O'Neill, and joining me for this 2-man Fireside Chats podcast is Tony Horvath.
That's the sound of fidget spinner.
You're throwing off my ASMR. Hey, everybody. It's just Tony and I tonight.
Hey, everybody. It's just Alex and I tonight.
I say tonight as I look behind me. For people watching the video version, it's just like bright light coming from outside.
Yeah, that's 4 in the afternoon for me. So.
Yeah, it's bright everywhere. It's gonna be a different show. Nabashin went to New York yesterday to go see Kingdom Hearts Orchestra, which he said was very good. Too fucking good, I think, is actually.
It probably sounded like Simple and Clean or something.
Yeah, Simple and Clean. That's it. That's the only Kingdom Hearts song. Weird, right?
Yeah.
And then Scott went to Shigatig, to his family's house in the island of Shigatig.
Yeah.
And he didn't bring anything with him.
No. We were talking earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just here."
I won't need any of this. So, which we found out last night at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Of course. So I was like, hey, Tony, do you want to just...
I didn't even know.
Yeah. And you were like, yeah, let's do it. So I figured... Yeah, well, this is the second 2-man show in 2 months, too. Because Nabashin and Scott did one. So this is our...
We have to be better than them.
Yeah, this is our show to their show.
Yeah.
It has to be better.
I mean, we are the black minority of this podcast,
no. So I was like, hey... let's just do something different. Let's wing it. And so I have a few things prepared, but I don't want you to think I have some master plan going into this.
I was expecting a master plan, to be honest.
I have some ideas, some things that will discussion topics. We're just gonna have a conversation. It's just 2 of us.
Are you gonna podcast and chill?
We're gonna podcast and chill, like my shirt says. We're gonna chill AF. Yeah, we're just gonna talk, have a conversation, talk about video games, maybe some stuff we're playing, but mostly, maybe just talk about the games industry and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a good time. I do want to kick things off with some housekeeping. First, the most important piece of housekeeping thing that have gone up this past week: Extra Life 2016, Relive the Magic. All the videos are up. All of Extra Life, all 25 hours of it is up for you.
Nice. I saw them coming up.
Yeah, a lot of people were reliving some of the higher moments, Danny and Alex's Amiibo Corner, which is
that's
really
not
fun.
a higher moment. Don't.
A lot of Amiibos got put. I put Wario in my whole mouth. And shaving Danny's head. My roommate Ethan shaving Danny's head in the patio.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video version, it's the one just behind me. And us playing New Super Luigi U, which was also not a high moment.
Oh no, it was not.
But the best part is like just at the end where Tony, you just turn it off and you're like, I made an executive decision. Which was the best way to end it. We only get like we were supposed to play it for an hour, and I think we played it for 38 minutes.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that like the four of us IP hosts played together. We were gonna play Mario Kart.
It's because we all secretly hate each other, and it's all right.
It was weird. We'll have to do more segments with us, like the four of us, this coming year. I'm trying to think. What are some other the hot pepper Towerfall is real good. Watching that again.
I did not go back.
Yeah,
I do remember playing a lot of Towerfall with hot peppers in my mouth, though.
It's great because like so it's like at the end when Scott does the 3 habaneros together.
Yeah,
you're just sitting on the couch like right next to him or like right across from him, and you just look at him and you're like, Scott immediately thinks this is a bad idea.
Yeah, dude.
It was good. That's a good segment because like I lose the first round.
I lost every round. Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, and I'm just having like a panic attack. And my hand, like I forgot because like when I'm rewatching my reaction to it, I forgot that like my hands went numb.
At some point. Are you excited for Ghost Pepper Towerfall?
No Ghost Pepper Towerfall. I would probably die.
All right.
I'd pull an Aaron Hansen and like the inner lining of my intestines would be permanently damaged. And then the Destiny raid, obviously.
Yeah, that was a good time.
I took a
ready for the Destiny 2 raid at this coming Extra Life.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. No regrets there.
God, who's gonna be in the fire team?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think we might be able to have everyone there. We'll see.
Yeah.
So the Destiny raid, I took a clip of it and I put it up on my Instagram and I put it on Twitter as well, of just when I had an emotional breakdown in the middle.
Oh, I definitely watched it.
I watched it like 7 times. I'm like, this is really funny.
I remember just breaking down laughing.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Because like at that point I had finished the raid like 9 or 10 times.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, come on, guys.
And I'd done it like twice too up at that point. And I just like, because in the clip I have my flubbed throat, and it is so close.
Yeah, it's the last one.
And I can see like how if I was drunk, which I was at the time, like I would mess that up, and I just like the feelings all came rushing back to me. I'm like, oh my god. I actually
it was a good decision to do that.
Yeah, that was really funny. I actually had somebody like message me and say like, oh my god, are you okay? I'm like, this was from months ago. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to worry. But yeah,
I wasn't then, but now I am.
I am. I'm okay-ish now. So yeah, there's some highlights there, but there's more beyond that. We played a whole bunch of like tabletop games. We played Avalon and Werewolf. I think this year we're probably gonna play some Secret Hitler too, which is gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And played there's a bunch of Titanfall 2 in there, some Bloodborne, Spelunky, Jackbox Party Pack, Overwatch. There's a bunch of great games in there. You can see us play, and we made a paint can at one point that has its own breakout video as well, which was very fun. So go and relive the magic. I made custom like thumbnails and everything for that. There's a playlist on youtube.com/irrationalpassions where you can watch the video version of this same show. And go check that out. So I would appreciate that. It was a long time coming, a lot of editing and cutting videos. But I'm glad that is finally up, and now I can actually start working on other videos. Outside of that, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment review is up if you missed that. Audio versions for all the podcasts are up. Jarrett Green put up another episode of Monthly Passions podcast with Roxy Faye, who is a cosplayer. And Jarrett said this is probably the best episode of Monthly Passions podcast.
Cool.
Which is
that's
high regard.
High praise.
Yeah, from the man himself. If you've never listened to Monthly Passions podcast, it's like a one-on-one show, kind of like this one right now. But it's usually Jarrett like interviewing someone or kind of having a conversation with someone. So, I wrote an editorial, big long thing, kind of just discussing my different thoughts on how Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo each did at E3. It was more of like a summary of a lot of the stuff I talked about on the show here. But if you want to see that kind of like formally written out, that is up on IrrationalPassions.com. And George Cruz wrote another Lost Oddities, this time for Need for Speed Underground, which is a game he remembered fondly, went back to, and then had more hangups with than he originally remembered. And it's a cool kind of like perspective change piece of like one part reverence and one part criticism and another part just fun and jokes, which, you know, George always does with his Lost Oddities. So I would recommend checking it out. You ever play those Need for Speed games, Tony?
Which Need for Speed games?
Any of them?
I played Underground.
Okay.
And I think that's
what this
it.
one's about. He said there are a lot of exploitative shots of women in that game.
God, dude, it's been years. But that's probably why I liked it so much.
Yeah. Let's be real here. I think I played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit at a friend's house once. But that was it. Which was the Cops and Robbers one, of course.
Yeah. I liked, I did like Need for Speed Underground. I think that was one of the first racing games where you could drive around like a city and like customize your car and give it like neon lights and shit and just drive around if you want and then join a race at the place where you're at. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. But I'm just not a racing game kind of dude.
Yeah, I mean, neither am I. Like, what's that new Need for Speed called?
Fuck, I don't know. Too much speed?
Like propaganda or something. It's kind of like a dumb name. I'll just search it.
Need for Speed Big Red 1.
I went to type Need for Speed and I just typed in Nintendo. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Nintendo publishes this new Need for Speed game.
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed Cross Rabbids.
Need for Speed plus Rabbids. Yo, that would be great. Need for Speed plus Mario and Rabbids.
No, that would not be great. In no way would that be good.
Imagine like
how are you going to put cars in your XCOM mechanics?
Imagine the Peach Rabbid doing Snapchat videos from the driver's seat, like all of my
she had Snapchat spectacles.
Yo, what if she did? And like you could record in game and then upload it to your.
No, Snapchat. I'm not buying into this.
Your real. Need for Speed Payback is the one coming out this year. It's a terrible name.
Who are they paying back? Is it like the enemy is like big business?
I don't know. Bank? That's a good question. Like, what's up? Who wronged you? Who did this to you? I don't know. I like to imagine that it's like it's a thrilling revenge story, but that didn't really work out for the crew either. Racing games don't need to have stories.
No, you just gotta have good racing.
You just gotta have good racing. Like
the drift's gotta be real wet.
Or like real dry, you know, like maybe
or super dry, yeah.
Desert or rainy environment. Like Mario Kart doesn't have a fucking narrative to it. What if it did though? Oh man, the Peach Rabbit shows up.
No, dude, it's just Luigi trying to get revenge on everyone. You've seen his face.
Yeah, he's pissed, man. What you been playing, Tony? You been playing
one game.
Yeah.
Black Desert Online.
Making any progress? You changing lives in Black Desert
dude,
Online?
So much progress.
Yeah.
Cool thing about Black Desert is that you can do so much shit throughout a week, right? And like, or even the game, it's like, I was thinking about it earlier and I was thinking like the game is more like a marathon rather than a sprint. But I had to like immediately correct myself. I was like, no, this game is more like a treadmill rather than a marathon. Because it's like you can make meaningful progress like basically forever in this game, which is cool. You can constantly like keep building towards something, you know, like to a goal, and end up with cool shit. So throughout the week, like I haven't gained a level throughout the last week, but I've gained so many other things that I felt like my time was worthwhile. You know.
Yeah.
So it's endlessly entertaining, at least so far.
What's your like? Do you have an end goal? Is there like in-game content in Black Desert? It's not like that kind of MMO, right?
It's not a theme park MMO, which is what I would classify World of Warcraft as, where they come out with an expansion pack, And once that comes out, you get new gear. All the gear you had from the previous expansion pack is no longer, it doesn't matter how long you grinded for that gear, or like however many times you ran that raid to get that boss piece. All of it's irrelevant now, basically.
Yeah.
Then you go through the new content, new quests, do the new raid content, get the new gear, wait for the next expansion, and do it over again. You're there to experience the instanced content that the game is providing to you, kind of like a ride in an amusement park. Yeah. Black Desert Online is a sandbox MMO where everything that you do in the game is meaningful progress. Like the gear you get on day one of this game being released is still gear that you want to, that you could want to have now. The way that the end game works is once you get up to a certain level, 56, then the amount of experience it takes to gain another level like dramatically increases. So that's kind of like, that's the soft cap for leveling. So that's basically people's goal. At 56, you also unlock a new style of weapon for your class called an Awakening. So you basically completely change the gameplay of your class to something more powerful. And at that point, you're kind of ready, for PvP and stuff and the things that people do near the end game. There are no instances or raids in Black Desert. There are world bosses to go fight. But they're not super challenging. It's more like you just go there to get your RNG shot at getting a piece of armor. And the weird thing about armor is like I could go right now fight a world boss and then have it drop a piece of armor. That piece of armor is going to have like 6 defense points. For reference, my armor that I have right now has 60. So like you have to still go through this whole upgrade process and everything that like you would with every other item in the game, even with the most powerful items in the game. The thing that makes them most powerful and therefore desirable is that every time you would enhance it, so like boss armor +1 would have like 9 DP, where regular armor +1 would have 8 instead of 6. So you gain a little bit more each time you level it up, so it gets powerful over time.
So you're just like committing the time to your equipment.
Yeah, and another weird thing about this game as opposed to other ones is that items are not bound to your character in a large sense, at least for the majority of items. For example, like all of the gear you get, save for very few exceptions, is marketable. So you could buy a weapon for a class for, let's say, 20 million silver, which isn't a lot. It's actually almost no money at all in that game. Buy that weapon, use it, decide you don't like the class, or get a better weapon, and then be like, all right, let me sell this back to the marketplace and buy a better one. Or you could get that weapon, use the weapon to do content until you had enough money to buy a better weapon. And then once you have the better weapon, you can just sell that old weapon back to the marketplace so someone else can use it to recoup some of the money that you spent on your gear. So while like a +15 dagger is 20 million, and then if you wanted to go to +16, then you'd have to have like 30 million. You spend the 30, equip that, then sell back your old one, recoup 20 mil to put towards your next upgrade or something like that, which is a weird thing to think about if you've played a lot of MMOs, because like in WoW, the second you put an item on your character, it's bound to you in almost every case, right? So you can't recycle gear. So it's cool. Like if I really wanted to, I could sell all my characters' gear, make a new character, and then buy all the gear that is useful for them. Well, sort of, because the only thing that is class specific are weapons. Armor is across the board, every class can use it. So I could just put all my armor on another character, buy the 2 weapons that they need, third one eventually, and then you're good to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The only other thing that people do end game, well, there's 2 other things. There's PvP, which if you join a guild, there are a couple different, basically, there are wars that go on in the game. And to keep it simple, there are nodes in the game. Every like location in the game is a node. Guilds can own that node, and when they do, they get to tax the materials that come through that node. So you make a ton of money by owning this farm node, or et cetera, et cetera. Like tier 1 node wars are for the small nodes like farms. Then you get to tier 2 node wars, which are like small cities and stuff like that. And then there's tier 3 node wars, which are the major cities where like most players house all their stuff, have all their workers going through, all that kind of stuff. Then there are castle sieges, which is the high end of the high end PvP, where you could potentially take over one of the 4 territories that make up the entire map. If you're able to hold that territory for a couple weeks, which you have to defend your castle every Saturday, then you make billions of silver for your guild, because you get taxes on everything going through that entire section of the game. Okay. So PvP is basically the end game as far as like instead of raiding, which I hated PvP in WoW. I just didn't. It felt bad to me not really having a whole lot of control over my character stuff. In Black Desert, since it's more of an active action combat kind of system, where instead of like if I wanted to use an ability in WoW, I'd press a number button on my keyboard, right? Press 4 and he'd use an ability. In Black Desert, if I wanted to use my wizard's one of his spells, if I'm holding W to go forward and hit F, W plus F is one of those abilities. Or S plus F, which is backing up plus F, is a different ability. So you can kind of weave those into you moving your motion and everything, in the aiming of your abilities and stuff is all taken care of by the mouse. So it helps you, kind of get more in tune with your character and get more control over them, which makes PvP feel better to me. So that's kind of like that's one of the other things you can do. And finally, the most popular thing that people do at the end, once they get to about 56, is life skills. Professions, is fishing. Professions in the game are all classified as life skills. For example, you have gathering, which is going out and collecting resources. It's the most, one of the more active ones to do. Processing, which is like once you've gone out and got a bunch of logs or whatever from cutting down trees, then you process those logs into planks, then those planks into plywood. Then there's cooking, where you cook. There's alchemy, which is making potions and alchemy stones, which give buffs to people. People want to buy those for pretty high prices if you get good ones. Training would be to train horses. Fishing, obviously, fishing is the most popular one, because a lot of the life skills in this game can be taken care of either AFK or semi-AFK. Fishing being the most AFK one, where you basically just sit your guy there overnight, and every time a fish bites your line, if you don't do anything for 3 minutes, the game automatically catches the fish for you. So you just leave it there overnight, and he will catch stuff until either his rod breaks or your inventory is full.
I hate it when my rod breaks.
Yeah, dude, sucks. Then there's hunting, which isn't a super popular one. You can go out with a musket and shoot rare birds and shit. You gotta get those rare birds. There's trading, where you would buy a merchant wagon, start in one town, buy a bunch of trade goods, and then take those trade goods physically across the map to another town where they would sell for a high price. A lot of people really like trading. But I haven't gotten into it. It's too complicated to explain why I can't do trading, but there's a very specific reason why I can't. Yeah, it's cool. Trading in this game, in these games, is really cool. Then there's farming and sailing, which are kind of after they're not very popular ones. This game, it borrows a lot from Mabinogi, which is a game that I played years ago.
Yeah.
Because it kind of makes sense, because Black Desert is a Korean MMO as well as Mabi was.
Yeah.
But trading and gathering, a bunch of the stuff that's in this game, and just the general feel of the end game is basically lifted from Mabi, which is really cool. Because it was a thing that I didn't know that I wanted until I played it. It's basically a Mabi 2, which is super cool. I've definitely been enjoying my time with it. But yeah, that's what people do when they get to the end game. It's there's all that different stuff to do, and all of it can be meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you hit 56 yet?
Yeah, so I have 4 characters at 56.
Okay.
But if you have the right setup, it only takes 3 hours to get to 50, and then another 4 after that to get from 50 to 56. but 50, like this character, the wizard that I've been playing on recently, I've been grinding at 56 for probably about combined 6 hours or so, and I'm about 50% of the way through 56. And that's with a bunch of experience boosts. So like it's basically the way that I described it to Scott originally was all of the experience that you get from level 1 to 56. If you take that total number, multiply it by 2.5, that's the amount of experience you need to get from 56 to 57. Then if you take that cumulative experience all the way up to 57, multiply that by 2, that's 57 to 58. So, and it just keeps going like that multiplicatively all the way up to 65.
65.
The highest level player in the entire server, the North American server, is 62. There are 2 of them. That's it.
Wow.
60 is basically the stopping point for anyone except for the most ridiculous no life players, you know. But 56 is achievable. 57 is achievable. 58 is achievable with effort. And then 59 and 60 are achievable with a large amount of effort and time.
Too much effort, one might say.
Maybe. Yeah. It all depends on what you want to get out of it. Like you can be equally rewarded for grinding or fishing for hours.
Yeah.
So, it's cool.
I don't know. Like, it's a cool idea. I think and the same was true of Terra. If it was like easier for me to play Terra, maybe I would have put more time into it. As a not super PC person, I like the appeal of like an action MMO. Like that's essentially what Destiny is, right? The reason I got into Destiny and the absurdity of the systems is because that game was, at the end of the day, really fun to play for me.
Yeah.
So, and like the gameplay rewards, like the parts of the game that you get to play because you put in the work and put in the grinding in Destiny, were all worth it. So
right. Yeah. There's more of it in this game than there is in Destiny, basically.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. It's just I think it's like up to you to decide whether or not.
Yeah, for sure. It's you should always pretty much be, you decide how much of it you want to engage in, and like how much you want to like optimize what you're engaging in, right? Because like for every life skill or anything that you do, there are ways to optimize it, min max it, if as much as you want to, right? Like cooking, usually it takes like 10 seconds to cook a dish. You can get that down to 1 second if you prepare the right way. And then your cooking time obviously is 90% faster, right? So you're able to get a whole bunch of shit done. It's cool.
Some Zelda shit right there.
There you go.
Cool. Is that all you played?
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
I played some more Alundra. I talked about it last week. PS1 classic, one might say. It's very good. It's a Zelda-like. Just chipping away at that. I forgot how long that game is. I am, I think I'm about 19 hours into it now.
Yeah, it's a game I never touched.
Yeah, it's rad. I mean, like, you like Zelda games.
Yeah, Zelda games are all right. I think that Zelda is really cool when he saves Link from disaster.
Right. No need to be smart. It's like
can't help it, dude.
I know, you're such a smart boy. It's like in the Link to the Past family, right? It's weird. Alundra, like the thing that is the most frustrating about it is, so unlike most 2D Zeldas or most top-down Zeldas, there is just like a strict jump button. Obviously, like most of the handheld ones have the Rock's Feather or the Rock's Cape that lets you jump, but that's still like an item that you have to earn and then go on from there. In Alundra, you can just jump from the get-go, and because of that, there's a lot of platforming puzzles in it. But the trouble is the perspective of the game is isometric, like kind of like Diablo. It's kind of angled. And because it's pixel art, you don't really get a good depth of field. So a lot of times platforms that are like above and behind you look like they're on the same plane as you, but they're not, or below and in front of you and stuff like that. So there's like these weird like angular jumps throughout that game that become, as the platforming gets more and more complicated, it becomes more and more frustrating. But it's it's very challenging. It has like a lot of logic puzzles built into it, like a lot of read these 5 phrases, now put these in the right order, or like interpret this riddle into like this actual physical puzzle, and like lighting these torches. And there's like a lot of
Yeah.
ice block puzzles. I can tell you a thing or two about ice block puzzles.
Uh oh. Do they
Um,
slide until they hit a non-ice part?
yep.
Dude, I feel like that's one of the classic video game puzzles at this point.
Yeah. That's like such a Zelda thing too.
Or like the earliest time I ever think I saw one of those was like in a Pokemon game.
Yeah. Like the Pokemon, it has like the straight up Pokemon Red and Blue like arrow, like
Okay.
escalator, like people mover floor puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
like the Lieutenant Surge gym or whatever it was, or
yeah,
Giovanni's gym.
yeah, that was the Team Rocket base.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Um, and so like Alundra has a little bit of that as well. Um, it's cool, like it is weird because so like we talked about it a lot with Breath of the Wild, but I think like the visual aspect of Zelda games has always been a part of that franchise, right? It's very good at conveying information to you with in a very short amount of time with just visuals and no
Mhm.
text. And A Link to the Past is like excellent at that. Alundra is not as good at that, and like that's where you can see like maybe this team isn't as experienced as like obviously the Nintendo team that made Zelda like 3. That was like their third or fourth Zelda game at that point. But it's still like it does it in a different way. It tries to interpret that in a different way. And even though it has troubles with like planes and platforming and jumping and kind of spatial awareness, like it like supplements that with logic puzzles and riddles and things like that are really fun.
Mm.
So it's like it's very challenging. It's like it's a hard game, and it is continuously hard. It has a good curve of difficulty to it. So I like if you're into Zelda games, it's up there for me with Okami as far as like non-Zelda Zelda games that are very good. Played a little Okami this week as well, just because I'm in that kind of mood.
Yeah.
The other thing I put any noticeable amount of time into was Resident Evil 5, which I
Okay.
bought to play cooperatively with Shaboy Jacob Bryant.
Mm.
So we started doing that, and I got some new
So better or worse than Operation Raccoon City?
much better.
Okay.
Uh, Resident Evil 5 feels like a competent video game,
Yeah.
whereas Operation Raccoon City does
Feels
not.
like a Joseph Fate grenading simulator.
Yeah, Joseph Fate throws grenades at his teammates simulator.
Yeah.
Um, no, like Resident Evil 5, it definitely is it is kind of like a slightly less stiff Resident Evil 4. It still has the thing where you can't like move and shoot, so you have to full
Mm.
stop, aim, then shoot. But it like it's twin stick. It feels a little bit better. Uh, but it's still because of that it has that kind of classic Resident Evil feel to it.
Yeah.
But as a cooperative game, like I played through way back in the day, like 2009, whenever that game came out. I played through it all by myself, and then you like essentially there's a second player in that game, Shiva, and you can play through the whole game cooperatively as well. So Jacob and I got it, and we started playing through that cooperatively. I was testing some new streaming equipment.
Hmm. How's that going?
It's going really well. It works very well. So now I'm able to stream in 60 FPS at 1080p, which is nice. And I can also capture at 60 frames, which I couldn't before. So that worked really well. I archived the one stream that we did this week. That's
Mhm.
on YouTube as well. If you'd like to go watch us play that, first 10 minutes of it is us trying to figure out how to get in a game together. But after that,
Sounds like some quality content.
we played like 2 hours of it, and it's really fun. We had a good time. So yeah, that game is very fun. Like it gets a lot of shit, probably deservedly so.
Mm.
I don't know how into the Resident Evils you are, Tony.
Nah.
Not at all, yeah. And five is somewhere between four, where like four is a classic and six is a disaster, and
Mhm.
five has the ideas of both like the all cooperation parts of six and then like the gameplay style of four. But it's okay. It's like good. It's fun. It's got a really silly story. At the end, you fight Wesker on a volcano.
Mhm.
Spoilers.
On a volcano.
Yeah,
Shit.
in the mouth of a volcano, and he throws boulders at you, and Chris Redfield punches boulders a whole bunch.
I think I might be into that.
It's like this actually happens in the game, and like the best part is because that game starts, you're like two agents in like an African like war zone trying to figure out like what's going on because like the bioweapons might be there, and then it ends with Chris Redfield punching a boulder with his fists. So it goes the full gambit. And there's like a DLC add-on for that where you play as Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine. I've never played that, so I'm excited to play that after we finish the main game. But yeah, we got through Act 2, Chapter 1. So go check that out. The video's on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. But that's really all I've been playing. Not a lot of video games. I'm still in kind of like a weird place. My post-Persona funk.
Yeah.
Are you in that same place, or are you just like loving up some Black Desert?
I think like I was in a good spot for an MMO because I played all of Persona, and then after Persona, we got really into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
And I was getting to the point where, and this is a cycle that happens with us, Scott and I, with every early access game that we ever get. We get it, play it for like 70 hours, and then there's just no more content. Yeah. So we're like, all right. Well, and I got to a point where I was like, they'd be like, hey, do you want to play some PUBG? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to do anything else with that game until new stuff comes out, because I know they're going to do new stuff, and I don't want to be completely sick of it by the time I get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, that's fair too.
So, and then, our friend Jay was like, hey, my friends are getting into this Black Desert Online game. Do you guys want to play with us? And I was like, instantly I went and I looked at it on the Steam Marketplace. And it kind of scared me a little bit because it had, it was one of those, free to play, small buy-in, but no subscription fee MMOs that has a in-game cash shop. And so I was like, I don't know if this game is super pay to win. If you can spend $300 and have the best gear in the game, I'm not super down for that. So I went and I looked at the packs that you could buy, and there weren't really any mentions. There was one mention of something that I thought might be slightly pay to win, but which was that if you buy the $50 version of the game rather than the $10 version of the game, you get a value pack, which if you turn that on, you are given a bunch of bonuses in the game, like inventory and storage expansion. But the biggest thing was a 10% boost to all of your combat experience. But turns out 10% boost is basically nothing in this game. And also for the first couple month or two, they just give you value packs anyway, regardless of which version of the game you bought. And they're also not hard to buy off the marketplace. So and every day they just give you can either get 200% experience boost for 1 hour or 100% for 2 hours. So 10% in the grand scheme of things is nothing.
Yeah.
So I then became okay with it, and and on further inspection in the actual game, it's more of a pay to convenience rather than a pay to win model. Your inventory has a weight limit. So while you could have 100 slots in your inventory, if you have 3,000 things of the same thing, that one slot might fill out your entire weight limit. So it doesn't matter how big your inventory is. But there are very few ways in the game to increase that weight limit. One of them is the biggest way is that's the one big thing that's pretty much recommended to buy from the cash shop. And it costs $30. So you spend $10 on the game, then another $30 on that. You spent $40. So far, I've gotten 500 hours out of this game. Yeah. So it's not bad. Anyway, that stuff all happened. I looked at that, and then I was like, okay, this makes it works for me. This game I'll give it a shot. Gave it a shot. The game ended up doing things in an MMO that I didn't know I wanted an MMO to do. But it took me kind of challenging myself to learn all of the really weird like stuff you wouldn't expect to be in an MMO. You know, you don't usually expect an MMO to let you command points of the map when there are hundreds of thousands of players going to that point every day, you know. But like some of that is per player, some of that is per account. So anyway, like long story short, yeah, it fills an interesting void in what I was, you know, and what kind of games I wanted to play. Once I get like, you know, more through this Black Desert thing, then I'd probably be ready to go back to another game that's more of a single player focused, like story driven kind of game. But at this point, I'm super okay with just a thing that's not going to hold my hand and just do whatever the fuck I want, you know?
Yeah. Do you have like the next game that you're looking forward to getting?
Um,
Got a list here. I'm looking.
I don't know. I don't. There's not one that I'm like super like keen on.
Except for like Destiny 2, pretty much.
Well, yeah, that's kind of farther down the line than what the time frame I was looking at.
Yeah. I was curious.
Yeah, as far as like the next month or two, I don't know. I guess I kind of just see what happens.
Yeah, it's like Splatoon 2.
Yeah, there's that. There's the Zelda DLC I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah, I found out. So the hard mode Zelda DLC has you have separate save slots for that. You get two save slots for that, which is nice. So
super nice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's adding additional save slots. Maybe it'll add like an extra one for normal mode as well.
That would also be super nice.
Yeah, that would be. Although it might be a little bit early for me to want to go replay that whole game.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff. Like Nex Machina came out this week, which I really want to play. I played at PSX. That's like the same Housemarque game. It's kind of like Resogun, but twin stick shooter, like top down twin stick shooter instead of side to side. And Arms is out, and I actually do want to get Arms.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Arms. Eventually, I did. Oh, I watched the quick look.
Yeah,
it looks alright.
What do the GB guys think of it?
You know, when I watched that quick look, I was at a point in my life where I had been awake since 9:30 the previous evening, and it was at that point 5:30 in the afternoon of the next day. I hadn't slept yet, so I think I slept through half of that quick look, but I do remember watching the beginning and seeing the characters. So your guess is as good as mine if they liked it or not.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But the beginning looked all right.
All right. People are saying not to sleep on Ever Oasis, which is like this 3DS game, kind of fantasy life adjacent.
I'm not going to play anything else on the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's just where I'm at with it. It's just, might as well get rid of it.
I get that. They're making another RPG maker?
I've got a Switch, you know? Like.
Yeah. I know. What do you want? What do you even need that for? Valkyria Revolution is coming out. I forgot that was even coming to North America. That comes out next Tuesday. That's like the Valkyria Chronicles.
Dude, there are tanks in that game.
There are tanks in that game. Well, you're not going to play Hey Pikmin on the Nintendo 3DS?
Dude, the last Pikmin game I played was Pikmin fucking 1. And I didn't like it.
Fair enough. Pyre is coming out next month also. I forgot about that. That's the Supergiant Games new game.
Yeah. If any game that's going to put like a strict time limit on like a whole day, and if you don't do shit, you're fucked. Like, oh man, I don't know. I just didn't like that aspect about Pikmin.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about Pikmin 1 is that you do have like that 30-day time limit.
Yeah.
That's like you not only have the day time limit, you get 12 and a half minutes per day.
Yeah.
You also have like this greater time limit of like one in-game month.
Right. Like you get to play for like 5 hours and the game's over.
Yeah. And like there are bosses and there are 30 parts to your ship.
Yeah.
You only need 25 to escape, but I definitely that's a Pikmin is a stressful game.
Dude, I just want to make all the Pikmin have flowers on their heads and pick them out of the ground and amass like 70,000 Pikmin. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. And then they cut you off at like 1,000 Pikmin.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's silly. I'm not like I get it. I understand why someone would not be as down to fuck with that game.
Dude, I think the Pikmin are down to fuck though.
I think the Pikmin
What else would they do in that onion?
I think the Pikmin are fucking each other. I want to be
In the onion?
in the onion.
Yeah.
I like, man.
Do you think they do it kind of like they do in Avatar, where they like put their flowers together?
And like, no, I think the onion has like little things that come out the top of it, inside of it, and they all like hook into it, and they all just like have a fucking brain orgy.
Oh, so exactly like Avatar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you so like in Avatar, because you're the resident Avatar expert, so like there's like a field of fuck trees, right?
Yeah, fuck trees.
And like can like a bunch of people hook up to the same field of fuck trees and then they're all fucking?
No, I don't think so.
Or is it just like two people can hook up to one tree?
Yes, that way.
And then they're fucking?
Yeah.
Dude, but is that how they inseminate one another? Like, is that how somebody gets pregnant?
I don't know that much, but I know that the way that works is like when they both connect to the tree, it like puts their nervous systems together.
Yeah. So
you can like feel the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can org exam one another.
Yeah. So imagine if like if I were next to you on that couch, right, and I put my hand on your nipple.
Yep.
And you could then feel like you could feel me touching your nipple and the feeling of touching your own nipple at the same time. That's what they do.
That's fucked up, man. That's like some straight up drugs shit right there. Are you sure they weren't just weed trees?
They might have been weed trees.
Yeah. Are you going to visit Avatar World in Disney World?
Hold on.
In Orlando, Florida. Oh, Tony left me. Griffin just walks in with his dick out. Check Twitter, you know.
If you want, I guess you could just tell him hi.
My sweet baby boy. I'm looking into your eyes right now. You can't see me, but I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
We were just talking about Avatar's fuck trees.
What?
You've never seen the movie Avatar?
Oh!
You know how
that Avatar.
They
I immediately thought Last Airbender. Yeah, they did.
No, and it'd be funny if the Last Airbender they fucked with trees, but
also they kind of like fuck the horse too.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't they fuck that horse?
No, it's how they command him.
All right.
I mean, when I try to command something, I too put my dick inside of it.
I guess.
Yeah. It's the only way to exert dominance.
But I feel okay, say they had taken the horse to the fuck tree, connected the horse to the tree, and then themselves to the tree, then they would have fucked the horse. Instead, they just put themselves on the horse.
They fuck.
You know, I think that they need the fuck tree as an implement.
They only fuck in the fuck tree.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't like this conversation anymore.
Sorry, Griffin's leaving.
Okay. Tony, are you going to visit the Avatar World in Disney's Orlando, Florida?
Passionate about fucking.
Okay. Thank you, Griffin.
Sorry, what was that?
Are you gonna visit the Avatar World in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park in Orlando, Florida?
When am I ever going to be at Disney?
I don't know, man. Like, you love Avatar more than any human I know, except for like Max Scoville.
You know, when that movie first came out, I seriously considered learning the language.
I know you did, because like that was pre-IP. That was before you started on IP. But like I remember, like in the early days, you were still like really high on it.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, this is my favorite movie of all time, Avatar, the movie Avatar.
Yeah, not the Last Airbender one, because that movie was not good.
No, that's not a good movie. I've still never seen it, but
when the next Avatar movies come out, there are going to be 3 more. They're making all 3 at once.
They're like making 1,000 Avatar. It's just like my hang up is, so you did the Pocahontas story, right? The kind of fish out of water story.
Sure.
Like,
now Jake is a real Avatar.
Yeah, so like he became a real Avatar, like
yeah. They put his soul from his dead body into the Avatar body.
Yeah. But like his Avatar body was like made in a tube.
Yeah, and?
Like, but doesn't that...
You think about it, we're all made in fleshy tubes.
Yeah, but like he was made in a not fleshy tube. In like
He could have been fleshy.
Glass and metal tube.
Mm.
And I just like, what is the next story? Do you do Pocahontas 2 after this?
I don't know, dude. That's fucking... It's exciting because like... What the fuck are they gonna do? It's
you
either
think
gonna be real good or more likely fucking garbage.
Yeah.
But the first movie was good.
Yeah, I mean, like the first movie's fine. Like I give it a lot of shit, but like it is, the Pocahontas story archetype is fine. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it does it totally well. Um, it's just and with a lot of high tech graphics with like 3X's. But I just like I don't know where they go from there. Like, okay, the humans like left or whatever, they befriended the avatars.
Yeah. Well, and almost exclusively, only like 3 humans befriended the Avatar people.
Yeah, but like they can be the bridge between the two peoples.
Yeah. Jake Sully.
Jake Sully. I can't believe you remember his name.
Dude,
He just
of course
looks
I do.
like a white male protagonist. That's why. I just like. I hope the story isn't like Planet of the Apes esque, like hatred, and then like they all come together and fight a greater evil.
Mm.
Maybe like the xenomorphs will like from the Alien series will just come and attack.
I mean, dude, that'd be like another alien race tries to threaten the Na'vi.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's like a bunch of weird like robot dinosaurs.
Then they need to come contact Earth, be like, hey, bring the unobtainium back. We got to do some shit.
Yeah, we have to obtain the unobtainium. I know, crazy, right?
Yeah, dude.
Tony, let's talk about video games. Not like games we've been playing, but like video gamas.
Okay.
So we're probably gonna hold off on like the big discussion until next week. But I'd like, since it's it's just the two of us, we can do whatever we want. How are you feeling about 2017?
So far?
Yeah.
So far, 2017 has been pretty lit, I'd say. Feeling fine, we had Persona 5 came out this year. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's enough said already.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It's been there. Like Horizon came out. Horizon was amazing. Persona was really good. There's just so many games that came out in the beginning of this year and then Destiny 2 is later this year, which is the bit like I feel like probably my most anticipated for the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's been a great fucking year.
Are you like fully on the Danganronpa train?
Yeah, I played them all.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you.
Well, I played 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I did finish
the other one either. Danganronpa 3 comes out this year.
Yeah.
Too?
Hell yeah. Those games are great.
Yeah. And so like not only that, but you also got a PS4 Pro and a Nintendo Switch this year.
Yeah. Zelda was all right.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, kind of done with it.
Okay, that's fair. I played more Mario Kart last night.
I don't think I'm ever gonna play that game again.
That makes me sad, Tony.
Yeah, we'll play Monster Hunter together.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. This is the one. Monster Hunter Double Cross. I won't double cross you. Yeah, no, I agree. I like looking back. I mean, it's not just that. Like, there's been a banger at least every month, right?
Yeah. Like I touched on a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe not for you in January, but for me, there was like Resident Evil 7, which I loved. Like, I liked that game way more than I thought I would, and Tales of Berseria, which was like coming off of Zestiria, which was very flawed. Like, Berseria really took that back. Did you ever finish Zestiria?
No.
Okay. You should.
I should, because I own it on PC. But I didn't finish it because I kind of like got to the point where the story was no longer overpowering the crippling performance issues that my PC was having playing it.
Yeah.
And so it just was no longer fun for me to play.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning, like since the story and everything was new, I wasn't just going through the world and doing whatever. I could kind of deal with it. I was like, I'm here for the story.
Berseria is really rad, and I think there are parts of that game that you would really appreciate.
Yeah.
It'd be worth checking out. I mean, that's on PC as well, so.
Yeah, I like the Tales games a lot. Yeah. I do eventually want to get to it, but that might be the thing that I go to after I kind of like am in the mood for a more of a JRPG kind of thing again. But Persona is that game is long.
Yeah, that was an investment. And then like Neo came out.
Yeah, Neo was cool too.
Yeah, Neo was really cool. It was cool to see like a complete thought, like a complete idea
Hmm.
of like one of those kinds of games, like a Souls adjacent game. That
Yeah, I
wasn't
was ready for one of those.
yeah,
A take on a Souls game, the Souls genre, but with pretty different mechanics.
yeah, and like that game is competent. Where I think like Lords of the Fallen and now like the other one, the Cyberpunk one, I can't think of the
Yeah,
name. Those don't seem as competent.
sure.
But Neo definitely like it was robust. It had its own
Yeah,
thing.
it definitely felt like a complete thought,
Yeah.
rather than like where a lot of like ports of games like that will be sort of a half thought, and then the other half is just borrowing as much as they possibly can from its predecessor.
Yeah. And
Um,
like that game definitely like wore thin with me
mhm.
faster than I would have hoped. I mean, like it reuses a lot of the same enemies.
Yeah, I didn't go back for the DLC,
Mhm.
but I had a lot of fun completing the game as it shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those games are cool. Like Salt and Sanctuary from last year did a very similar thing, and that was super rad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like. Yeah. I want to finish Neo. I don't know if I will before the end of the year.
I mean, if you're close, it's not too. It's probably not too much more.
Yeah. I was like, I think it was like 45 hours in.
Well, like how far in this? Like what bosses did you fight?
Oh, I went through like a castle.
Uh-huh.
Like the female teammate they have with you.
Yeah.
And she gets like possessed or whatever.
Yep.
I fought her. I think that was like, the
Okay,
last
that's
fight.
actually like getting towards the end of the game, so you're almost there.
Yeah.
You've got like maybe 5 bosses left, but a lot of them are in quick succession.
Yeah. That's what
So.
I figured. Like I think you had told me we had checked in when I was playing that last that I had like 2 areas left.
Yeah.
Which is not too bad. I just like because then you told me the stuff about the magic and then the game was just immediately broken.
Think about the magic.
Like where
using like the talismans, sloth talismans and stuff.
yeah, like
Yeah,
slothing the bosses and then like yeah.
I don't know if that's breaking the game. I feel like that's just using the mechanics.
It's exploiting the game, but yeah, it's maybe not breaking it.
I wouldn't even call it exploiting because like you're not using a mechanic in a way that was not designed to be used.
Yeah.
That would be exploiting it, right? Like say you weren't supposed to be able to sloth a boss and you figured out a way to do it, that would be exploiting the game's mechanics. But in this case, those talismans are specifically there basically for that.
Would you say it's cheesing then?
Still, I don't know. Since it's something that is so applicable to every boss in the game, I don't think you're cheesing the bosses that way.
Mm-hmm.
Say there was one boss, right, that was like really slowed when you used those talismans, so you're able to use them to make the fight literally not matter. Like you just use it, then you can smack him until he's dead.
Yeah.
I think that would be more like cheesing. I feel like it's a stretch, right? They were definitely not super balanced when in the game's initial version. Yeah. Like they should not have slowed the bosses down. Maybe slowed them down less or for less time. One of those two would be a good way to fix that. But I feel like using the mechanics as they were in the game was fine.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the game becomes drastically easier when you like summon other people and stuff too. So
yeah, there are a bunch of ways. Like I mean, Dark Souls, right? Like the more that you level up and increase your stats and your weapon, the easier the game gets.
Yeah.
There are still those hard outs where like if you don't dodge this mechanic, regardless of how much health you have, you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
There are some of those moments in Neo as well, but a lot of them come from the most one of the more damaging things in Dark Souls, which were enemies' flurry attacks. Yeah. Right, those are more abundant in Neo because that's a good way to damage and punish a character.
And also giant slimes that shoot dumb fucking lasers. That's oh god, that boss.
Yeah, dude, the Umibozu.
Yeah, Umibozu. Fuck, man.
That guy sucked, dude. I remember him taking a long time. It was just like
such an uninteresting fight on top of being super cheap.
Yeah, and you had to like. Well, that fight, like, you made it easier by doing the level, too. Because you had to go through the level, turn off the bonfires, or turn on the bonfires, which made the fight a little bit easier. But, yeah, like, it was just a big blob that jumped around the stage. Probably the worst executed boss in the game.
Yeah, and shot an insta-kill laser just because.
But, like, I feel like, at least in my, like, looking back impression of the game, that boss fights like that were very quickly overshadowed, but with like the good boss fights, like
Yeah.
the Ice Lady and stuff, like
Yeah, the Ice
that
Lady's a
boss
great
fight
fight.
was one of the best fights that I've had in a Souls game, comparable to like some of the better fights in Dark Souls 3.
Mhm.
So there are definitely some highs and lows with that game, but yeah, the magic system, it's good shit.
It's good shit. Like Horizon came out in February as well, and I still haven't finished that.
God, dude, Horizon, you got to get through it.
I know. Like the thing is just like I've been waiting for like a clear spot. I guess like now would probably.
Have you
be the best
started
time.
it?
Yeah, I played just like pretty much 2 long sessions of it, and then
Uh-huh.
like
So you got to the point where he says, Aloy!
yeah, that was that
opening
happens
cutscene?
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I got 16 hours in, right? You know, like the big T-Rex guys.
Yeah.
I saw my first one of those, and I saved it, and I quit right before I fought that guy. And then I haven't gone back since, because like Zelda came out, and I was like, I don't want to jump back and forth between these 2 games, which I think is
it's totally fine, but I would definitely recommend getting back into that game, even if you have to like start from an earlier save or whatever to kind of get your feet back on the ground.
Yeah.
That game has God, it's so good.
Yeah. I'm really
the mechanics and everything about that game, the story, the lore, all that stuff. Like that game deserves more, and it was already so good.
I'm excited because like I don't really know anything about the story, and that's everyone raves about it. So that's what I'm really interested to see. And it's getting like DLC this year as well. So, yeah, I don't know. March, Zelda obviously. I'm still pretty high on Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda was good.
And Nier Automata, which I haven't played yet.
It's on sale on Steam right now for the summer sale, so I'm thinking about picking it up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like the way Navashin talks about that game. I definitely want to see through, especially having now played the original Nier and kind of seeing in what weird ways.
It's not even just Navashin for me at this point. It's whenever I talk about or mention the game to anyone who's played it, they're like, no, you got to play that.
Yeah.
So I listen, right? Like, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, like there are a lot of folks in video games that are like very quietly like, hey, just don't sleep on this. It is worth not sleeping on it. Like I think George Cruz, writer for our site, he's a huge proponent of that game as well. I'm trying to think, like I think April obviously is where Persona came out, but after Persona there hasn't been like a big huge one for us, for IP specifically. Injustice 2 came out, and Prey as well, but outside of that, like none of us have really played those games. Scott played a little bit in Injustice 2, but yeah, I don't know. It's do you have like is Persona still at the top of your list so far this year?
It's a tough fight, but I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it is for me too. I think it just like it would either be Persona or Zelda for me, and I don't know. There's like Persona is such like a game for me that it's hard to even compete with that, even if Zelda like.
Yeah, definitely a cool game. I feel like it needed slightly more direction for it to be like really good in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though like saying that, I don't know if I actually wanted that. Like I was okay with the amount they just let you just go around. But if it had been there, I think the game might have been slightly better to me.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, like I've seen like a lot of weird like different criticisms thrown around for that game, but like I've also seen like a lot of praise for that game for Zelda thrown around that like was different than the things that I liked about it as well. So I think that there really is just as broad as that game is in how you play it, there's also a broad ways that people enjoy and dislike it. So I feel like the reasons that Scott wasn't as fond of it were very different than any of ours as well. So, but yeah, that game really just it reinvigorated my love for exploration in games in a way that I was taken aback by.
Sure.
Tony, how are you feeling about the video games industry
As a whole?
As a whole.
I would say that now is the best time to be playing video games.
You say there's never been a better time to play video games.
Maybe there has been, and it's like 2 months ago.
Yeah. 2 months ago was pretty lit. Like mid-April. Shit,
yeah.
Man. You were like right in the thick of it.
This has been a great year. Like I feel like we've kind of as an industry learned to tune out all the shovelware and stuff that has been flooding Steam and everything lately, at least from a PC player's perspective, right? So a lot of it's just like you just get to see the good stuff, and especially like in the position that we're in where we follow like games releases and media and stuff pretty closely. It's great. You get to just look at the best stuff, and
yeah, I mean,
it's weird with what you want to.
It's weird because like I look at the reviews on IP and like we have a lot of positive reviews on the site, but it's we are lucky because we have the privilege of playing the games that we want to play.
Yeah.
Like there's a lower score review going up soon. I won't say what game it is, but like people will be able to see that on the site on Monday. And it's rare now that like the things that we get to preview and anticipate actually come out and are disappointing. Like it's not.
Yeah, I think that speaks to just the size of the industry more than anything else, right? Because there's so many games, so like it's pretty natural that the good ones are going to float to the surface. There'll be some like gems that get washed away. Like in my eyes, Valhalla is one of those, right? And they got almost no media coverage.
Yeah.
At least as far as like larger outlets and stuff are concerned, and it was my favorite game of last year. But aside from the rare cases of that, I feel like in most cases the best games from the avalanche of games that come out every day typically float to the surface, and people are able to see that.
Yeah.
So.
And like I frequently say like there's a game out there for everyone, right? So like people, I think, thanks to like YouTubers and influencers and things like that,
mm-hmm.
they've been able to find the games that speak to them more easily, because like for example, like, I'm a JRPG guy, and for people who like JRPGs, they can come to me and they're like, I talk about Tales of Berseria this year, I talk about Persona 5 this year. At some point, I'll be talking about Nier Automata as well. So, like, you have a person that you can find that kind of lines up with the kinds of games you're looking for, and that just makes it easier for those niches to be appealed to. And I think that's really rad. But like, I'm curious, like, with your take as like a PC player, like with all of this. I mean, we got PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X coming out later this year. Like, how you feel about this and this kind of testing the waters as to the iterative console generation?
Sure. I think I'm in a pretty good position, right? Like I have a PS4 Pro, so I've got all of the Sony's IP covered. And I've got it connected to a 4K TV, so I'm going to see it in the best version that it's going to come out in, right? And then I've just built this really nice PC, so Microsoft's offerings, for the most part, I'll be able to experience, if I want to, at that spot too. Like in the best version of it. So as far as that goes, I'd say I'm pretty privileged, to have the access that I do. I've also got a Switch, so I've got access to all of Nintendo's offerings. So right now it's kind of just I got my pick of the litter, So as far as PC goes, right, like I'm in the top like 5 percentile of computers. So it's cool. It's cool just being able to do all that after like 6 years of having a laptop that just couldn't.
Yeah.
So being able to have access to everything, it's cool. It's a good time to be able to just consume as anything that I want to, pretty much.
Do you think like let's speculate here. Like, let's say PS4 Pro, Xbox One X are out for 2.5-3 years.
Yeah.
And then PS5 and Xbox 2 come out.
Xbox 2.
Yeah, right. And like they're just another half step past Xbox One X, PS4 Pro. Like, and then PS5 Pro or Xbox 2X.
Sure, this just becomes the norm.
Yeah, do you think that this is indicative of like a pattern, or is this more of we're gonna have to wait and see how this works out?
I'd say it's probably more of a pattern, right? Like the reason why is just because of how much technology seems to advance. You know how quickly it does these days. It's like if you look at what if you look at what made up a $2,000 computer 6 years ago, right? What you could build that for so cheap these days, and the processing power of what you could get for $2,000 today is so much higher. So how long did we have the Xbox 360? Right, like 10 years. It's just not in the scope of technology these days to have super long console cycles. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense every couple of years for there to be an update to the consoles. Kind of sucks, because you have to buy more consoles. People who buy consoles buy a console because they want to spend, a couple $100 on a system and then have that system for a long time to play all the games, right? That's kind of the selling point of a console.
Yeah.
And that it's such a lower buy-in than like building your own PC or whatever that can do what consoles do. So it sucks, right, for the people that is their mindset, but it's just not really a market reality in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just because like it's got to give, because games are so expensive. Like the reality is like $60 for a video game is a lot still.
Yeah.
And like,
it's a lot, and it probably should be more at this point because it's been $60 for years.
Yeah, and like
the only way $60 is not worth as much anymore.
The only way to like prevent the $60 from going up is like to really switch to all digital or primarily digital stuff like that. Which I feel like if you're putting out hardware in stores, like it's harder to make that sell because you're going to a place to get the hardware. I mean, obviously, like things like Amazon and stuff exist, but still, it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, like I just see it giving out at some point because, like, you think about it, like on PC, their games are typically more affordable. Like even a lot of $60 games like come out at $50 or a little bit less on PC just from day one.
Mm.
So like the investment in a PC is slightly augmented, and then obviously there are more sales and everything because of the ecosystem on PC. So like investing in that hardware makes sense, but like when you go out and you're dropping $500 for an Xbox One X, and then you still have to pay $60 for your Crackdown 3s and like all these other games, it's just like, man, it really adds up over time.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if I could take my PC, right, and somehow give it the capability to play all of Sony's games, all of the Xbox games on my PC, right? Just like put in a disc and it works. And then also give my PC the ability to stream with zero latency to my TV, I would do that, right? Like I would not own a console, but I want to have access to the games, and that is kind of driving my my desire to own a console. Yeah. And really getting a PS4 Pro for me was more of a, we've got this TV in the house. Like I could trade in my PS4 and it cost me $100 to get the better one.
Yeah. So that's just my sentiment of like, I think they're going to try and make this a pattern, but I don't think it's going to work out.
I feel like change is coming.
Yeah.
I just don't know what form it will arrive in yet.
Yeah, because we don't know how well the PS4 Pro is selling, and that's the only update console that is out right now. Obviously, Xbox One X is going to sell to some extent, but with Xbox One as behind as it is, what's the point? What's the point of like releasing numbers and letting us know how well that's selling?
Yeah,
I'm curious. Like, how do you feel about your Switch?
So, I'm excited for the potential of the Switch.
Okay.
My Switch is doing nothing right now, and it hasn't for weeks, except for a couple one-off sessions of playing Mario Kart. Since I finished playing Zelda, my Switch has done nothing. Okay. for the vast majority. I played a little bit of Shovel Knight and stuff, but in the grand scheme, right, like I'm waiting for games to come out that will get me back on the Switch. When I was playing Zelda, the Switch was awesome. And I feel like a lot of people, had that same sentiment with it, where when it's good, it's real good.
Yeah.
I was convinced of how, I was convinced through early reviews of people playing Zelda that, this is what you want to do, right? Like I would have had it on day one if, my pre-order situation hadn't been kind of screwed up. But I kind of thought of, like, as it was coming closer to launch, I was kind of midway between it, right? Like I didn't have the pre-order anymore, but I was kind of like, this is probably a good thing. I don't know if it's actually going to be super good yet. It's probably better that I don't, have spent the money. If it's good, I'll just get one when I can get one. Turns out, even though you still can't really get one today, I got one a little bit later after all the reviews, and man, Zelda was so good.
Yeah.
It really proved that console's viability. And so now, knowing that console is viable, I think it just came out a little bit too early. Because there's not a lot going on for it right now. If I really, really wanted to play my Switch, I could do it, but there's not a lot there yet. So once there's more there, I'm super excited for all that stuff. But until then, it's just going to hang out in my shelf.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's the platform people want to play their games on.
I like that. Like the different ways to play is a very good selling point for me.
Yeah, like having taken it to a PAX and everything, like it really is magical to just have that in your pocket.
Sure, and I think even like less than that, just the ability to sitting at home. Say you're playing, sitting on the couch playing on your TV. You're like, all right, I'm done sitting over here. I'm gonna go do something, be somewhere else, but I still want to play this game. You just pick it up and go over there. That's cool.
Like
it's the power of a console with the convenience of a handheld.
Yeah, I was down here playing Spectre of Torment back when I was writing up the review. And then I was like, I got to go make dinner, and I just took it with me up into the kitchen while I was boiling water and cooking pasta. I'm just sitting there on a stool, playing it there, and then I just came back down and put it right back. The gimmick works, and it works so well that people want to engage with the hardware. The console itself is so good that you want to people keep saying I want to play Persona 5 on this. I want to do this and that. And that's good. I mean that's good for Nintendo, and I don't think they're squandering their time with it. I think they've announced a lot of games for it for 2018. They have a lot of games coming out this year for it. Not all of those things are for everyone, kind of like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone wants to play ARMS. Not everyone wants to play Splatoon. But, for people that do want to play those games, I think there's a lot to be excited about. So, plus, Mario's not that far away. The idea of a new big Zelda game and a new big Mario game coming out within 9 months of each other is fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you looking forward to Odyssey at all?
Yeah, it looks cool. I want to put mustaches on stuff.
Yeah, who doesn't?
No, dude, weird people.
Yeah, I don't know. I the Switch is so clearly separate from the other two platforms, but also somehow coexisting with them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you think it's too expensive, the Switch?
No.
Neither do I.
No, I think that it's a solid price point for what it delivers. I still maintain that it came out too early, though.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, man, Destiny 2.
Do you think it's too expensive?
No, I think it's the right price as well. I think I don't know why people thought it would be less than $300.
Yeah, it would not be. I don't think that there's enough there's enough of a margin for them to make it cheaper.
It is less than the Wii U was at launch. The Wii U Deluxe was $350.
Yeah, the amount of compromise that they would have to make it a $250 console, or even it's a $200 console like the 3DS or whatever, would be far too massive for it to be worth doing.
Yeah, I agree.
I would pay $400 for a better quality Switch, for better build quality. a little bit more premium feeling on the on the controllers and the way that they attach to the console. Maybe a slightly higher res screen or something like that. Like I would pay more for a better version of the Switch, but I think that what they put to market was worth it for the price that they asked for it.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a friend of the show, who I won't name just for his anonymity, said that he would see like Nintendo putting out like a new Switch or a Switch Pro equivalent in 3 years, and then just keep doing that going forward. Which I don't know, like because they kind of did that with the 3DS. Like there's the new 3DS and the new 2DS XL, but yeah, I don't know if that's something I would want out of like Nintendo's ecosystem. But I guess like keeping it all in like the Switch family, so that way everything's like forwards compatible. Would be nice, but we'd have to wait and see. I just don't think that's something they do. I still think they will make a Switch Mini that is handheld only in the future, but we'll see.
2D Switch?
2D Switch. The Switch DS. The 2 Switch. 2 Switch, 2 Furious. Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
That game looks really rad.
I have beta access.
You do?
Yeah, so when the beta is available, I will be able to be part of that.
Did you just pre-order it already?
I was at a GameStop recently.
Yeah.
And I happened to have a couple dollars of GameStop credit.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll make you look good. Put this towards a pre-order of Destiny 2. And then he was like, okay, here's your beta access. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I have beta access.
Maybe I'll like pre-order on Amazon or something. Do you know when, like, have they said when that beta is?
I don't know. I went to like the Bungie.com/redeem thing to redeem the code onto my account, and I signed in through PlayStation Network and put in the code, and it was like, we'll email you when we have information about when this code will be, active.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay.
I got it right in front of me. Here we go. Destiny 2 PS4 beta starts July 18th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Xbox One, July 19th.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, it is.
Half a month.
PC beta, late August.
Yeah.
No hard date on that.
I wonder if, since I will be claiming the beta for the PS4, I will have the chance to test the PC beta.
You can always like pre-order through Amazon or something like that.
Yeah.
Figure something out.
Maybe I'll just like email them. Be like,
Are you worried about that game at all?
No.
Okay. It's neither am I.
The reason why that I am worried about I'm not worried about this game, is because I thought about it. If Destiny 2 comes out and is exactly the same game as Destiny 1 is right now, but with like a different map or what of stuff to do, I'm okay with that.
You'd have a good time. Would you?
I'd still have a good time. I'd be a little disappointed, but I'm okay with it and would still play it. That's why I'm not worried about Destiny 2.
Okay.
There's really only room for me to be impressed in there.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. Like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be playing that with like you and Danny and whatnot. And we're gonna have fun because we're playing together, right? So, I know my experience with that game will at least be positive.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't complain too much. I think like there's definitely room to be critical, and I think, like I will probably, I think all of us will probably be pretty critical of that game, but like when people were critical of Destiny 1, then the Taken King came out, and like that was a really great improvement.
Yeah, and that I like Destiny, right? It doesn't mean that I can't be critical of it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have been pretty critical of Destiny in the past.
I think we all have.
It's Destiny 2 is a game that I'll probably play over 2 consoles, or over 2 platforms as well. So I have a lot of friends on PC that really want to play.
Yeah.
But I don't want to leave behind my friends on PS4. So I'll have to play both. And which means that now instead of having to get 1 character to the light cap, I'll have to get 2. So that's going to be
6,
awful.
you mean?
Yeah. 6.
You're gonna do all 3 characters.
Destiny is one of those games where guns and stuff can be used by any character, so it's not as hard.
Yeah.
And in Destiny 1, you could send like a 400 light hunter gear that you're not going to use over to your Titan, infuse the 400 light Titan gear or hunter gear into the Titan gear, and then the Titan gear becomes 400. So it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Especially once I got my hunter to the light cap, every drop I got that could be 400 was 400. So it took like 2 weeks to get the other two to cap.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm stoked, man. I feel good about video games.
Yeah, dude. Video games are pretty good.
So, Tony, what's your favorite game of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we haven't talked about this. My favorite game of all time is Warcraft 3.
You did bring this up on the show.
Yeah, I think we briefly touched on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, because it's lit, fam. Dota.
Dude, the original Dota.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said on the show.
The reason why is because above all other games, like that game had the most impact on me as a player of the video games.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably was because of the age that I was when I was playing that game. It was one of the first games that I played a lot, and it had the ability to be any game pretty much because they put in a map editor that anyone could make their own level. And if you knew how to code in the language that they set for making them games or making maps, then you could script custom events and make custom models, and you could exploit the game's mechanics to do whatever you wanted on your map. And then take that map, go online, and fill a lobby full of players to play your game. Right? So it's kind of like an early RPG Maker kind of thing, where you made a map that had all of the mechanics of your game and then shared it with people. And through that, I was able to experience so many kinds of games through this engine of Warcraft 3. I never really even played the strategy, the RTS, very much. I played the campaign and everything when I first got the game, but it wasn't what kept me playing. What kept me playing was being able to play online and doing all of this awesome shit with, random people. There are a lot of games and game types and stuff, the games that I enjoy nowadays started there. So that's why I would say it's my favorite game of all time. It wouldn't be first on really any other list, right, of best made game or something like that, but I feel like it deserves that spot for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the game that impacted you the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Persona 4 is mine, and I think for me, especially at the time in my life when I played that game for the first time to completion, and the same is true of Persona 3, and it's less true of 5, which is why it didn't resonate with me as much. Maybe I'll revisit 5 when I'm a little bit older, and it'll hit all the notes. But because I played Persona 3 when I was sick, and when I played Persona 4 when I was coming out of really bad depression, these two games really hit home at the right time. So I think how a game shapes you and how you interpret it at the time of when you play it is super important to, and how that can change your perspective on video games in general is super important to whether or not it ends up as your favorite game or not.
Yeah.
Do you want to take some questions?
Sure.
People listening or watching live, you can always tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with hashtag IPQ. I got a few tonight. Griffin Guccione at Griffin Senpai said, "Does Bruno Mars is gay?"
I was showing him the Game Grumps animated bits a couple weeks ago. He thought that shit was so funny because it is.
It is super funny. Answer is yes.
Yes. The secret come out.
So Jarrett has this habit of just changing his Twitter name.
Yeah. To whatever is the best at the moment.
Just to the most ridiculous shit. So his current one is Jarrett Green, freelance writer and once writer for host of Monthly Passions podcast. Tinder Mahal, which I don't get. But at Jarrett John on Twitter says, "You guys finally taking your relationship to the next level," and this is in reference to Tony and myself. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Very sexual level.
I thought we were already there, but apparently we weren't.
In the podcast, the front-facing end of it.
All right, yeah, now it's just public.
Now it's public. Before it was like a secret tryst. Meerkat Animator at Meerkat. Let me pull up the full handle. Meerkat 280 Raid says, if you could change any genre of your favorite game, what would you change it to? P.S. Keep up the awesome podcast. Thank you, Meerkat. Any genre of one of your favorite games? That's a good question. I think there's like room for me to like make Persona 4 more of an action game than it is like a turn-based game, just because I like that kind of thing. I think it fits for Persona like really well. I like the Persona gameplay is like my favorite gameplay because of how well it just fits into that world. But like I'm always down to make everything a little bit more actiony. It might ruin that game, but I'd give it a shot.
Yeah. For me, like as far as my favorite game is concerned, well, Alex is gone. Oh Jesus, hold on. Oh, there he is.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Just like error.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were
Okay.
as far as my favorite game is concerned.
Yeah, as far as my favorite game is concerned, Warcraft 3 already kind of was any genre that it wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be playing the RTS 1 second, then get out of that, go into a custom game and be playing this weird game where you are a cat trying to go on a very difficult obstacle course while Linkin Park's In the End plays in the background.
Nice.
It's a real thing. It's called Run Kitty Run. And there were a bunch of obstacle courses where you'd play as a little cat and you had to get to the end while weird music played in the background. The most popular one being Linkin Park's In the End. So I feel like that transcends genres. But to answer the question, I guess less RTS because I didn't do it that much.
Yeah.
I was a little too young at that age to really engage with the RTS, the more mechanically based and driven timing optimization stuff.
Yeah.
That is more of the StarCraft 2 thing now. So
yeah. I think there's definitely room for that. Like that makes a lot of sense. But what about like any of your other favorite games of all time?
Well, I only have one of those.
Okay. I mean, well, like your other like all-time favorite games, I should say.
I don't know. The reason why they are my favorite games is because I liked them,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's difficult for me to impose something on those games as drastic as a genre shift.
Yeah.
Because like if say for example, right, like a Persona game, if you just took out the JRPG of a Persona game, what is Persona then? What happens when you make Persona an RTS or an action-based combat shooter?
Yeah.
I actually might want to play that.
Yeah, I mean that would be kind of rad.
What if Splatoon 2 was just Persona characters, splatting all over each other?
Yo, dude, that'd be fucking so good. I don't know, like what if Persona 4 was like an open world adventure game where like you go into the shadow world and you just like run around and explore.
What if Persona 6 is an MMO?
I'd still play it.
Yeah.
And you could
you
could have relationships with other people.
What if you could get married in that game?
I would probably find my one true love there.
Probably.
It'd probably be like some 36-year-old man in Japan.
No, it'd be Scott, dude.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Scott's everyone's one true love.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I can't think of any of my other like. The only other thing would be like another JRPG on my list that I would also just make more action.
Sure.
Like Final Fantasy VII or something like that. Except like I wouldn't touch Spelunky. Spelunky's the only one. It's perfect.
Mm.
Spelunky RTS?
No. There's nothing in Spelunky that even translates to an RTS.
Yeah. Just send a bunch of spiders after people.
Dude, what if you'd like turn Spelunky into XCOM?
All right.
And it's you versus the hazards.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up, man. Yeah.
What if Spelunky was turn-based?
That'd be cool.
You know how in Crypt of the Necrodancer, there's a character that when you're playing him, the beat only happens when you move. So every turn happens on your turn.
Yeah.
Like you press an arrow, you move over one, and all the enemies move.
Yeah.
So like, what if Spelunky was like that?
I mean, that's like the roguelike, essentially.
Yeah.
Like traditional roguelike, like actual rogue.
Mhm.
Like it would have to be grid based is the thing.
I don't know. Like, what if, like, it's the same Spelunky, but when you're not moving, time is frozen.
That's tricky because, like, think about like the way the shopkeepers and the guns would work in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still shoot?
I'm not saying that all the mechanics would translate directly, but like, for example, like, what would that do to Spelunky? You know, like, I feel like there is room for change there for iteration.
I think it would be like, it would work. Like it would. I think the game would still function. It'd be curious to see how like the minutia stuff, like the guns and things like that would work in that eco.
Yeah. Fucking Jesus, O'Neill. Are we back?
Hey,
And we're back.
hey, welcome back.
Hey, dude.
Man, Hangouts is just like, as soon as Scott leaves, you know, it gets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Spelunky would work, but it would be different. It'd be
It
weird.
would be different.
I'd give it a shot. God
Yeah.
knows. Harold Price at USF H Bomb says, "Who returns to IP first, me or Trevor Starkey?" Neither.
Never again.
Neither of you ever again. You're both banished from the Irrational Passion cinematic universe.
Alex O'Neill swinging that band hammer.
No.
God, man. Uther parties. That shit was lit.
What?
Uther party? Yeah, in Warcraft 3. It was a custom map that was a big, like, mishmash of mini games where you'd come in and then there'd be a cutscene of Uther, who was one of the main characters from Warcraft 3, with putting his hammer over his head saying it's hammer time. And then you'd play mini games until one person won the most video games, and then they won. It was lit.
It sounds weird.
And it's called Uther Party.
Let's I'm gonna do a little bit here. I'm gonna go back in the IPQ vault. And let's pick a question from way back when. Let's go back into 2016. Great year. Not really a great year actually. 2016, rough around the edges. This is a good question because we have you here, Tony. I feel like you might have missed the episode where this was asked. NATO Johnson at NATO J18. This is from December 10th, 2016. Which 4 anime boys would you love to see road trip Final Fantasy 15 style?
Didn't we answer this question?
We did. Like I said, I'm going back in the vault. We're going to revisit one.
Okay.
Which 4 anime boys would you want to see go on a road trip together?
Of all anime,
I feel like you've watched a lot of anime in the last 6 months, so I feel like this answer.
So of just recent anime,
I don't know, man. Like, you know, whatever. Just like, what's your OTP for?
So there'd be Yahakui Zashinina would be one of them.
That's a mouthful.
He's the alien from Kato.
Okay.
That show's real good. I'd pick him. Then let me see. Probably Metal Lee from Boruto.
Okay.
Let's see. Because Metal Lee's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've heard he's very good. Who does Rock Lee marry and have children with?
I don't know.
Who's his OTP?
type Rock Lee into Google. First thing is Rock Lee wife.
There you
Um, let me see. Apparently, there's no confirmation yet.
go. Twist. We don't know who's the mother of Metal Lee.
It hasn't been revealed as to who his parents are, other than obviously Rock Lee. Yeah. So like, if you go to the Naruto.wikia.com, very official. Under family, there's only Rock Lee as father. So perhaps Rock Lee is asexual.
Yeah, perhaps Rocket Lee reproduces by budding.
Yeah. Then I'd send Eraserhead.
Okay.
From My Hero.
I know that one.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's very cool.
And I don't know. I don't know who would go with that weird cast of people.
Sasuke Uchiha.
Why?
I just feel like Sasuke would just be such like a stuck-up little jerk face. He just ruined the fun of everyone else, right?
I guess.
And you need like a fun ruiner so that you can humble him by the end. I guess Sasuke is like too serious. Like he like murders people, so he's like too serious.
Yeah, so I feel like when it comes to murder, that's a little
too much.
It's a little out there.
A little extreme. I'm sure Eraserhead's probably killed a dude though.
Oh, what's his? Fuck, I don't remember what his name is. The teacher from Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor.
Okay.
I don't remember what his name is. Why don't I remember? Glenn Raiders.
Glenn Raiders. Got it. Okay. There you go.
Because Glenn's lit.
Hashtag lit. It's fire.
I got Gregory Blaney messaging me on Steam asking questions about Black Desert Online.
That sounds concerning. That's all I got. That's I think we had a good conversation. We did almost 2 hours too.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to end it. If you'd like to be a part of the show, like our tweeters did, you know, tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, like I said earlier. You could also write us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. Leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply. I hope you liked our 2-man show. I think we had a good time. This is fun.
Yeah.
I like this.
We should just fire the other 2 hosts.
Yeah. Just do a 2-man podcast. Bring the rotating third chair as the guest.
Yeah.
You can follow Tony and myself on Twitter. I am at AlFighter27 and Tony's at Tony Horvath, all one word. And Irrational Passions on Twitter is at IrrationalPod. I want to take a moment. Shout out to George Cruz. He's like, hey, is it okay if like I get access to the IP Twitter? Like, you know, I can try and like pick up some slack. I know you don't have time to always tweet about it. And I'm like, yeah. And he's been killing it lately. Just put out a tweet today, just, you know, promoting our YouTube stuff. We did get a last minute IPQ that we're going to loop back around to real quick in a moment. But just real quick, some other stuff, rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us out a lot. Go to vgevo.com. Check out the podcast network there that we're a part of. Awesome podcasts on that network too. Monthly Passions podcast is going on. You should listen to that. You can get it on irrationalpassions.com. Jarrett Green hosts that, and he's fantastic. Twitch.tv/irrationalpassions and youtube.com/irrationalpassions, where you can see all the great video stuff that we do, including all the extra life videos and live streams that I am doing with Jacob Bryant of Resident Evil 5. If you like the show, tell your friends about it. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the love. For everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. Real quick, we have one last minute IPQ. It's from who's this? Brian Artist Jackson at Novish186. I don't know who that is. He says, with the remake of Warcraft 3 happening, is Tony interested in replaying it, or is something that's better remembered?
Well, so here's the thing, right? I could do everything that made Warcraft 3 good in StarCraft 2 right now, but I feel like the time is not right for that kind of game anymore.
Okay.
Back then, that was like people who wanted to, make games like that. That was your outlet. Like Warcraft 3 was hugely popular. and there was a community there and enough people to kind of just do what you wanted. And the tools were set up in a way where the graphics and stuff were simplistic enough to be accessible. And at this point, like I haven't been, in StarCraft 2 to look at that recently, but when custom games and stuff were first kind of becoming a thing, Blizzard's kind of change in mindset from what like the more like lobby chat based kind of like landing zone between games has changed, where in StarCraft 2 there is no like text-based lobby, thing like that. You join a game not through a list of games that people have titled themselves, but through a map browser basically, and then if other people want to join that map, they can do it whenever. I feel like just the culture has changed around that kind of game in a way that would be very difficult to recreate. So
yeah, okay.
Though if they were able to do it, that would be lit. But I don't think that it would happen. So
okay, that's a good answer. There you go. Whoever this Nabishan fellow is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Brian.
You're gonna trigger him so hard.
I know. I remember like I called Nabishan Brian like to his face once. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You never call me Brian."
I think it's just me and my mom.
Yeah, that's it. That's the show. Don't worry, Tony. I got a plan for titles. So
okay.
I know you were worried. You typed in "oops" in the group.
Yeah.
Let's finish up with some bets. I don't think it would be right to do a new bet without all of our attending bettors here. But let's resolve last week's bet. Next Saturday, which is today, how many views will the God Wars Future Pass launch trailer have on NIS America's American YouTube channel have? So at the time it was about 816. That was the exact number, actually. I know that because Nabishan bet 816. Oh man, NAS America uploaded another God Wars Future Pass launch trailer.
There's one for the EU version, and then there's another version.
Yeah, there's a US launch trailer. We're sticking with the EU version because that was the one that I used before.
Okay.
So that had 816 views at the time. It was essentially like how much would it have come the following week? The same video, obviously. I said 1,874. Tony, you said 1,000. Scott said 0 because he opted out of the bet. And Nabishan said 816. The correct number is 1,528. Which puts me just 300 or so off. 300.
Yeah, see, but if we go with the US version, then I win.
Yeah, but like this was the one up that I was looking at.
So this is the one that makes Alex win.
Well, I mean, like it was the one that I didn't think they would post another one.
I feel like in this case we both win.
Do you want to? We can. I mean, fuck, man, we can just ruin the bet and give us both points.
I like it when we ruin bets.
All right, let's. We'll call that one a tie, and say we both win. So that brings
because the US version has 1,358 views.
Yeah,
putting it closer to 1,000.
Yeah.
So
what a weird city. Why would they?
It even looks the same.
It's the NAS America channel. It's the same like time. So they upload the NAS America channel uploaded the European one and the US one. So that's weird. It just seems like somebody messed that up.
Yeah.
So that brings Team BBC up to 32 points, and Team Flot at 27 points.
Woo! Fuck.
Still 5 behind. But you know what?
Dude, forever 5 behind. We're gonna tie every week for the rest of forever.
That would be fucked up. Like I said, we'll hold off on making new bets for next week until we got all of our boys here. But man, getting tense. The betting is tense. Thank you all for listening or watching, whichever you did, whichever you partook in. I don't judge either way. I'm trying to it's weird. There is like no necessary pro to waiting for the audio version of the podcast, right? Essentially, if you watch the video version live, like that archives immediately, and then you can just like watch the whole podcast. Like, why wait for the audio version? I mean, like the audio version's cleaned up, it sounds a little bit better, and it has all the music and stuff in it. But I'm trying to figure out maybe an incentivized way of making like people listen to the audio version, just because that does help us. We'll see. Just throwing that thought out here at the end. If people have any ideas, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm trying to think anything else to cover. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of two-player co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Because this is a more laid-back show, might use different opening music. We'll see. Maybe something like very sexual.
So for the outro music, can we use Finish Line by Chance the Rapper?
I think we'll probably get a strike on that one.
Think so?
Well, I mean,
what if it's just like Scott doing a metal cover?
I'd do that. That'd be fine.
What if that's the new news and gaming music?
That's the new news. Thank you everyone for your support. Thank you, Tony, for joining me.
Thank you, Alex, for joining me.
I hope you had a good time in our sexual two-man show. Yeah. I love you, man. Winky face.
Gross.
I'm your host, Alex O'Neill. Joined by this just lovely hunk of man right here. I hope you enjoyed our fireside chats. Play your games. Stay rational. We'll talk to you all next week.
Choo, choo, choo.
Choo, choo, choo. For titles, I was just going to name it Tony and Alex's Fireside Chat.
That works.
Yeah. So no need for a title section, because I think I'm going to try and play some like very sexual music to just go right into that intro.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll get that nice ASMR at the beginning, and then some fidget spinners.
Yeah.
But that's the show. You can stop recording now.
What if I want to never stop?
The Never Stop Award for the game that touched butts.
The never stop for recording.
Thank you everyone for watching the video version. Love you all. Have a good night.